Very cool.
Oh, I remember it. Absolutely.
Yeah, passing it on. Hey, Daniel, while we're in the green
Hey,
room,
Daryl.
I noticed a certain stirring in the force. Yeah,
Oh,
stirring in
maybe
the force of
there's some
Twitter.
there's some pills for that.
There, I'm sure there are. Where a certain tweet came out, which I was kind of interested in, because one, I follow the person, and two, it's kind of a topic of interest.
Hmm.
Did you see this one where the product group? Oh, there you go.
Mm.
Rebecca from the Microsoft Leap product group was giving out private preview
Oh,
slots in the waitlist.
nice.
Funny, 100 likes, 15,000 views, lots of
That's
people
a lot.
going, "Oh, am I too late? Can I DM you too?" Never mind the English grammar. That we were not paid for that particular promotion,
Right.
so we'll
Skip
just
it. Skip it.
yep. But Rebecca had a few things to give out and bring people into the wait list. Are you on the wait list for Loop?
I am not. And because I am going to heavily rely on you
Oh,
to
no
to
pressure.
make it happen for me. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I know a
About
guy.
that.
Well,
Sorry about your
sorry
luck.
about that. Yeah, no problem. Anyone in the chat there who also saw that tweet and was interested, or in the comments if you're watching this video later, saw the tweet and also reached out to say, yeah, me too. Let me on the Loop preview. It's exciting, Daniel, because I think
Hmm.
it's almost like they're trying to pressure test it. Like let's
Mm,
get more people on because they were very casual and careful about how they brought organizations on uh,
hmm.
earlier. Ours being one of them, and they'd pair you up with a product group, and you would meet regularly and give feedback and fill out surveys. So it's quite
Mm,
a intensive process. It wasn't just give me the software so I can try it.
right.
But yeah, at the moment, mate, it's like, oh, let's open it up and see how people are using it with telemetry.
Hmm. Well, I think, I mean, that's kind of the point, right? Of a
Yeah,
private
yeah.
preview is try to get more. Now, is it because maybe you haven't been using it and given them enough telemetry so they
Yeah,
need
I
more
think
people
that's
to
it. That's it. Hey,
get
our
on with it,
private
Daryl?
preview customers are not giving us enough feedback. So, anyone? Anyone? What's that John Travolta meme?
Slacker.
Come on.
Yeah, we're the.
G'day, Pete. How you doing? G'day, Andy. Awesome to have you.
Good day.
Yeah,
I'm
so I
sorry,
think
but
that,
is
yeah.
that is that acceptable?
What?
Good
Is
day.
it accepted?
I
G'day.
mean, is
Good. It's
that
like good
do New
day.
Zealand? I know what it means, but I 100% associate it with the Big Island,
The West Island.
Australia, the West Island, right?
Well,
What you
yeah,
call
because
the West
it
Island.
is still a New Zealand saying in that sense because it's the West Island.
Okay. All right.
See
I'm
how it
okay with
works?
that. I'm trying to learn from you, right? So that's why I'm asking.
No, it's well. I mean, I wouldn't say Struth or that I'm from down under, even though I am. Those are
Yeah.
Australian sayings. But
Yeah,
just
they
like the
are.
pavlova and Farlap and many other things that we argue about with Australians that we invented it first,
Uh huh.
g'day is a New Zealand expression.
Okay.
And for all those Aussies who are now angrily typing in the comments, bring it on. No, I'm just joking. We're at time, Daniel. Let's
Let's
rock
let's
on.
do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 275 of the 365 Message Center Show. I did notice one thing there. So everyone, we have a green room, which basically is just us getting going, and before we roll the intro, and I started beatboxing when Daryl said, "I'm pushing the button."
Yes.
It didn't get captured. Like
Oh,
during the
you're
delay,
lucky.
there's
You're
a
lucky.
yeah.
Maybe it was a bit like the pipe is just sort of filling up with water and you're beatboxing and pushing it through and here comes the data. It's out there. Right. We're live streaming now.
Yeah, it didn't catch it. So, you know, but good day, as Darrell would say to everyone, right, Darrell? You
Yes,
say
and,
good day?
and Phil would reciprocate and say
Yes.
g'day back. G'day.
Good day. We are covering a handful or so message today, including one that covers a feature that I had no idea it existed.
Neither. That's quite a surprise.
100%. I had no idea. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and I'm like, I've never seen this screen before in my life. So we're going to cover that and its new refresh, what the announcement is about. So
We're also going to get quite explicit near the end, and it is the
We are.
title, the headline
Indeed.
of the show today.
We're
I
gonna
want to ask something,
explicit.
people, too. Regular listeners, when we write our titles for our show, we write a little blurb, a bit of copy. We're not saying, hey, this is just the show, come along to episode 275. We often try and lead with a headline. Do you feel that just makes you think the episode is just about that? Or as regular listeners, you got it. It's more than just that. Tell us what you think and whether we should change things up a bit.
Well, let's have some caution here, Darrell. That
Okay.
even if they say, "Hey, you
Caution?
should change
Me?
it," doesn't mean we're obligated. We just want your opinion. It's kind of like Microsoft. You know, they ask you, and if you don't give them the information they want to hear, they're just going to ask it in a different way until you say it the way.
That's great
that they want.
feedback.
That's great feedback.
Yeah, that's
but-
great feedback.
Yeah. Make sure that you smash that thumbs up button on this video. Give us a follow if you so desire. We'd love to, if you're catching this video, if you're catching the audio recording, the podcast, give us a share and give a rating after you listen. We'd love to be able to share this with more people. And that's how it happens, is more people find it because you share on socials and everywhere else at 365MCS.
Now, I just want to say something to two people in the chat.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're getting a call. Well, you deal with that.
That's
I'll
awesome.
deal with this. Excuse me, Phil and Andy, stay on topic, okay? I mean, we'll cover AI at some point, right? But don't go wandering off looking at other announcements. You're here in the show, okay? Just focus. Thank you.
Yes, and we are on LinkedIn at 365MCS. We're on Twitter, same thing. Facebook, same thing. Insta, same thing. Hopefully you see a pattern here because we don't want to confuse ourselves. We're at 365MCS everywhere.
We don't live stream to LinkedIn at the moment. Have found it hasn't really changed a lot in feature set for the last 3 years. Isn't really that discoverable. So we just share our YouTube
Hey, we're
link
here.
as the external link.
We're here for you though, where you
Right here.
are. Mm-hmm. And speaking of being
Of
right
here.
here where you are,
Yes,
let's talk about this first announcement. Darryl. Let's-
indeed. Go ahead, caller.
This one is, and I was trying to lead into it with what I was saying about where you are, and I'll tell you why in a second. Microsoft Teams, insights about people in profile cards now coming to Microsoft Teams. How many times can you say Microsoft Teams in the same title? Apparently twice on this one. MC521886. So this message doesn't have a lot of information in it on the message itself. You can get more information. There's a link there. It says more information on this can be found here. And then once you go there, you can see what it's talking about.
Well,
but in the
let's go
profile
there, Daniel.
card...
Let's
Yeah, in the profile card in Teams, you're going to be able to see some useful information. So not just information about out of office or Teams status message, but you're going to be able to see
birthdays.
things that are coming from LinkedIn, right? And that's what that image is showing, is information from LinkedIn for things like birthdays. Absolutely.
Do you get reminders from LinkedIn on birthdays?
Absolutely. If people put their birthday in LinkedIn, it will pop up in activity that's one of your connections is having a birthday today.
What else?
So career changes, presumably this is like title changes or, those things you see on LinkedIn about, hey, I've been promoted, those kind of updates.
Yep.
But we'll also be able to see pending meeting invites. So if you sent a meeting invite and it's pending, you'll be able to see that in the insights there on the profile card.
Okay.
So you can hey, you haven't responded to that meeting. Appreciate it if you would do that. So my lead in, what I was trying to get at is I just don't feel like, and I'm gonna point out a problem here, but I don't have a solution. And I know that's not great. I get it. I'm sorry. But the problem I'm going to point out here is it's just not easy to get to those profile cards. Meaning, if I want to see someone's profile card, that's the way I'm going about it. I want to see the card, then I have to go find them. I have to go find a chat they're in with me. I have to go find a channel message where they've posted, or I have to go search for and then find, and then there's just a lot of steps there. That's the way I'm going about it. The other way I'm going, if you could go about it, is you're already in a chat with them and you go, I want to see what information I can go ahead and look at that. I don't have a solution for that, but finding people and finding information, I feel like it needs to be improved. And I know how much you love feeds, but I feel like I really would like some sort of feed that has people updates.
Well, did we look at that?
No, it includes some updates.
Okay.
We've talked about feeds before, some updates, but I'm talking about updates like out of offices and all that kind of stuff. I kind of like because you have to stumble upon it rather than it showing it to you. Anyway, I know that's dangerous suggesting a new feed because, wow, we've got plenty of those. But anyway, so this is rolling out early March, so nowish. Expected for the rollout to be completed by end of March. Do you look at profile cards a lot, Darrell?
The most common reason I use a profile card is to grab an email address, copy, paste it in. And that goes for people who aren't in my organization. Sometimes, if I go and work for a client and I are given credentials for the environment, I'll use that to get familiar with the organization. And you can use the chart as well to kind of find your way through. But I'm with you. It looks like the first experience will be adding this to the contact card in Teams, and then you would expect it to be the same anywhere else that you use the contact card.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the improvements could be, or there's several improvements I would like to make, but I'm not in charge, so that's okay. It's probably best that I'm not in charge anyway.
Fairy Geek Mother's got a good suggestion for one.
Yeah.
Seen an update like, John doesn't work anymore, contact his former manager.
Right.
We joked when we were planning the show yesterday that what if someone left a parting message and also it was on LinkedIn saying, got a new job, entirely new job, peace out.
Well, especially if you don't, turn their account off.
Yeah.
Right? They've quit and now they've went and posted, I'm joining a new company or whatever. Yep. That's the update.
That's the update.
So I think we've covered that one. Let's cover. Yeah, I think we have. We could actually take what we discussed there and make a template out of it. I think where we've covered the message in thoroughly and explained our opinions. I think we could do that.
Yeah, we could have a whiteboarding ideation session on how to improve the card. Mm-hmm. All right, so with that, those ideation sessions might have a pattern. You might have some regular things that you do within those sessions. Maybe you do regular feedback sessions. And so in Whiteboard today, I think what I would do, Daniel, is if I like a whiteboard layout and different cards that we might use for workshops, I will copy it, zero it out, and then use it again. However, this update brings custom templates to Microsoft Whiteboard. MC 522573. This is a good feature. The message isn't great about telling us about it. In fact, it again introduces some new information that both Daniel and I were like, huh? Is that a thing? But the ability to be able to go in and create a template. Let's have a quick look at this screenshot before we get into some of the detail. So it is, and I'll just zoom in on here. This is just a typical whiteboard. But what is available when you click on the plus button to look at existing templates, you have the option to create a new template. And it will save in a area for my custom templates. So that's cool. That means that this example where it's a SWOT analysis, you could lay that out and you could use it frequently and share it and use it within your meetings. So what can you do with this? Well, you'll be able to create and save these custom layouts. You can create new whiteboards based on them. But where it gets down to some of the info that Daniel and I were scratching our head going, is that a thing? Is that it's available for customers with Whiteboard Plan 2 and Plan 3. Now, maybe it's because you and I, Daniel, don't spend a lot of time going in and enabling people for certain feature sets.
Right.
But did you know this?
I did not know this. What is a Plan 2 and Plan 3? And then is it a thing that people purchase just Whiteboard? Because I went and looked and you can't. There's no go in and say, I only want to purchase a license for Whiteboard. It's included in other plans. E3 is a Whiteboard Plan 2, and E5 includes a Whiteboard Plan 3. But what's the difference? What is the difference between the plans? No clue whatsoever. Now, we looked. It's not like we said, oh, we don't know, and we moved on. We actually tried to find out, and no clue whatsoever. Yeah. So if you have an idea, throw it into the comments below. Would love to understand what you think. What are these plans? Is there a place we could find out what the difference is? If you're on the audio, give us a tweet at 365MCS. Let us know, because I would love to understand what's the difference in there.
Yep, I'm sure there'll be some people that are all about putting licensing together and understanding feature sets and whether it gives additional functionality. With this message too, there's nothing that you need to take in terms of action because it's just going to be there as an available feature. We did try to go to help and support, and it takes us through to the Whiteboard Help and Learning. So that's your support center page, not anything specific to creating templates. But what I did try and do was, okay, let's drill down into this features. Okay, get on down to create templates in Whiteboard. That sounds promising. Let's just, I'm not making this up, people. For those on the audio podcast, I zoomed on in. Create templates. Oh, okay. Insert templates. So this is actually a page which isn't quite ready for the create templates content yet. This is how you would use a template, and those are existing out-of-the-box templates. You'll see in this screenshot that it is all about the usual catalog. So expect to see this page updated and telling people how to use them, which would be kind of crucial, right, if you're trying to manage this change and tell people. But let's move on. When is this available? Nowish. So if you're trying to prepare your people, maybe you should just create a little one-pager of your own for now, and it'll be complete by late March. Daniel, while we're on the topic of what the, really? Is this a thing? Can you tell us about our next message?
I can indeed. This is new My Groups experience, MC522581. And yes, my friends, this is what I was talking about before. I looked at this and said, My Groups experience. I don't know what does this mean? I figure groups as in 365 groups, but okay, what is this? So this is saying the current experience, which is located at mygroups.microsoft.com. Well, I stopped there. I went, there's a current experience at mygroups.microsoft.com?
Shall we go there?
Okay, sure, let's go, because I had no clue. I mean, there's probably some people that are going to be in chat. They're going to throw it in the comments. They're going to be like, Daniel, you're an idiot. You should have known about this. Okay, fine. But I still didn't know about it. So this experience shows you with the tiles, the colorful tiles for these groups. It shows
classic
you groups
tiles, Daniel.
Yeah, classic tiles. Yeah, groups that you are owner of and groups that you're a member in. And you can see those things, and you can click on them and engage with that. You can do a search. You can create a group from here. So, wow, this is another surface where we can create groups. Cool. I, again, didn't know about this. So, they're replacing this and with a new experience. Right now, that new experience is live. It's myaccount.microsoft.com/groups. And you can go there now and see the new experience. But what this announcement is saying is that in mid-May, they're going to start, if you go to mygroups.microsoft.com, they're going to forward you to this new experience at myaccount.microsoft.com/groups. Now, why is it /groups? Well, it's because if you look at the top left, you actually have access to a drop down that goes to My Account and My Apps and now My Groups. It's a little quirky right now because if you go to My Account and then drop it down again and then go to My Groups, it takes you back to the classic experience that we were talking about before at mygroups.microsoft.com. But anyway, so what's the difference here? Why do we care? It's a new look, a new feel of the experience. So be able to look at the components there, the groups, and it has a few quirks. First, we found out Darrell doesn't have the same view as I do. So on the home screen, he just has the ability to create security groups for some reason. Although in the classic experience, the current experience, he can create 365 groups just fine. I have a security groups and M365 groups is something I can create from here.
You're special, okay. Daniel.
Well, in more ways than one. And so we found that quirky bit. If you go into, I also saw I own more groups than I am a member in, which is interesting. Seeing as how there's only one security group listed there, the rest are M365 groups. So it's interesting to me. But when you go into if you go into groups I am in that listing, and you click on a group, you're going to see information, pretty cool, of what is this, how many members it has, and then you're going to see icons for the services that it's labeled as group links to get to that content. Teams, the Outlook box, SharePoint with a little p. Yes, that drives me nuts. So you'll be able to click on that and open the site that's associated with it, which is cool. The last quirky bit, maybe, that I remember is if I say join a group, and in the top right hand corner there's a join a group button. So you click that, takes you to search groups, which is interesting. Shouldn't it be labeled search? I don't know. Anyway, so you click the join the group, you search groups, and it doesn't list all your groups. It's blank until you start searching. So it does have if you type in a letter, it'll show you the ones. So if you click on that group, though, on any of those groups, it'll show you and it'll give you a join group button, even if you are already a member. So I'll go in, and there's many of these. I'm already a member or an owner and there'll still be a join group button there. So that's a bit quirky as well. It's very interesting. So, all right, I spent a little bit of time on the quirkiness of all this, but it kind of amazed me. I didn't know this existed. I was like, okay. I know there's ways of getting groups that you belong to, but I've never seen this before. So there you go. our audience now knows it exists, how you can use it, and you can get the new experience now, or you can wait until mid-May when they're going to switch it for you. So what do you think, people? Is this did you know about this? And why didn't you tell me if you did? And what do you think about this new experience? Is it something that now that you know about it, it's something you'll use? What do you think? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think there are some power apps and various solutions people have put together to list all the groups that are available to join.
Right.
I've seen the same thing put together for Teams or any Microsoft 365 group type product. But I didn't know this was there. And if I did, I probably would have directed people through to it. And you know, the new way of looking at things, the different filters and landing page, looks like it's going to be quite helpful, but they certainly need to surface it better. I think like one way to get to that is, you know, you click up on your profile photo, go to your account settings. Maybe they need to put my groups or manage groups or view groups there. That might help.
I also would like to see this in the apps launcher, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get it
In here? Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just so that we can, you know, people can see what groups I'm a member of. How can I get quick access to? I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Like we've got apps, we've got documents. Why don't we have something called groups and then click to go through to that experience?
Absolutely.
We're so smart.
We are smart. Speaking of being smart, let's get explicit.
What?
Yeah, baby.
Oh my. Oh my. Okay, well, explicitly speaking, we do have a new feature where it just happens to be the headline for the show. We've saved the best till last. And I have seen others talking about this. Explicit recording consent for Teams meetings. MC523053. Wow. Sounds really heavy, doesn't it? When you look into it, it actually makes a lot of sense. This is a feature where at a organizational level, your admin can turn it on. And then, you know, when, Daniel, you hit record, and we've all got into the custom of saying before we hit record, hey, I'm going to hit record. If you don't want to be on this recording, please feel free to leave the meeting. You do a cool little thing afterwards as well, which is that part's never actually captured by the recording, as you've said, Daniel. So you have to say something after you've started recording. Thanks for all sticking around. I take it that you all want to be here and in the recording. Well, this goes one further. If you are in a meeting and you get that warning, that's fine. Someone hits record. You actually won't be part of the recording unless you explicitly say that you want to be. And so we have a few screenshots here we can flick on through to show what that experience is like. But it's quite specific, would be a good way to put it. Here we go. So someone's hit record. Your org requires consent. We'll turn off everyone's microphone, camera, and content sharing until they consent to be recorded. Actually, I think that is the organizer's view, or the person who's pressed record. They'll see that. So what does that mean, Daniel? I mean, I know we were talking through that in terms of an impact. I've hit record. I see this message. What does that mean for everyone in my audience?
Well, I think we're going to see, if you are a member, a pop-up. You know, we all see pop-ups, right? That says this is being recorded, right? And also a transcript pop-up to say there's a transcript being created if that's what's happening. We'll see that, but we have to explicitly, see, this is where that comes in, explicitly allow the recording of us. And so we're not going to be recorded. Our audio, our video, our screen sharing until we say we want that to happen. Which is interesting, Darrell, right? Because I guess our picture will be recorded as far as our
participation
profile picture, right, like everybody else. But I think this means that, right, you're going to be in a meeting. You're not, if you go in to unmute yourself, someone says, "Hey, Daniel, what do you think about this?" If you go to unmute, it's going to say, "Hey, you need to give permission to be in the recording." And if you don't give permission, then you can't unmute.
Yeah.
So then people are, "Hey, Daniel, you're on mute if you're trying to talk." Daniel. So this is an interesting kind of, I think it's a good feature, but it could cause some interesting conversations, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't they talking? Why aren't they responding?
I mean, people have trouble as it is finding the unmute button anyway. And then they've got hardware that actually does that for them too, and they put the boom up. But this is another level where, okay, let's actually clarify this too. It is not just that you are excluded from the recording. If you do not give consent, it also means that you can't turn your video on and unmute until, or actually even share content until you give consent. So
right.
Effectively, you can only participate in the meeting chat. All right?
Indeed.
Now, if once you have given consent, and if you've done that at the beginning of the meeting, you've responded to that pop-up, cool. All's well, it'll continue as normal. As Daniel said, if you haven't given consent and you go to come off mute, you'll get that message. And at that point, you'll actually be part of the recording. I think it's going to introduce another layer that people will, okay, where's my unmute button? I've unmuted my button. I'm talking now, but no one's talking. Oh, okay, I see this message. I now need to click something and then give consent. Now I can talk. Oh, and then there's the raise hand as all part of that kind of flow. Raise your hand. It's a moderated discussion. The presenter allows you to unmute and invites you to talk. You go to unmute, but then you haven't given consent. So you give consent, and now you can go unmute, and now you're talking. Hey! Do we see this now, people?
Well, and so pointing out, you're going to have to really work and communicate this. If you're going to use this, you're going to have to communicate this to your organization. But then it's not just that. Think about guests that are joining your meeting. If you've turned this on and, they don't have it, they're not experienced with this at all, just be prepared for these kind of conversations of, maybe, and maybe even you need to have a slide. I know this is much.
Yeah.
Have a slide you're showing at the beginning saying,
why not?
Hey, you need to give consent to be in the recording, and here's how you do it. I don't know.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it is a bit of housekeeping and a bit much for, one-on-ones or, just a few people. But if you're having presentations, giving to large groups regularly, you might want to put something like that together.
So admins, enable or disable if your organization wants to use it. If you're going to enable it, definitely work with people to get that message out there about how it works. Otherwise, you will have two options when you can't hear someone. You're on mute. Oh, you're on mute and you haven't given consent.
Right. You need to be explicit.
Yeah. So this is rolling out to standard and GCC beginning late March, complete mid-April, GCC High rolling out late April, expect to be complete early May, and DoD in late May, expect to be complete early June. And that is the show, Daniel.
Indeed. Make sure, please, you go ahead and share out this episode. We've had some great conversations in chat for live. We know we're going to have some great comments on the episode, some shares for the audio podcast. So jump in, be part of that, and make sure you follow us at 365 MCS everywhere you are, because we are there too. We're following you. No, wait, you're following us. That's what it is. Yeah.
We're omnipresent. We're everywhere where you are. Yeah. Wherever you take us. I mean, wherever you plan to watch the recordings, we'll be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just on screen.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate it and appreciate your input into this community of change agents, us who are just trying to keep up with change and help our organization navigate those waters. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate it.
Till next week. See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.